My entire vacation was a lie. This is a speeding ticket. Hola, I'm Hala, and oh my god, I'm broke. I don't know how it happened. 1 second I'm driving home to play Nintendo Plus Cats, and next thing I know, my wallet's empty. How am I gonna get out of this one? I got it! I'll consult everybody's favorite I need to get out of debt quick site. I guess I have no choice. The best selling games of all time. A list any developer with a brain wants to be on. These games are the best of the best, selling tens, sometimes hundreds of millions of copies. Whether it's due to their influence, how revolutionary they are, or for being Wii Play. With most of these games, you can tell why they would be on the list, but then there's games like Connected Ventures. It's clear these games only made it on the list because they're part of a bundle. Like, I don't think anyone went to the store and bought Wii Play because, oh look, a copy of Wii Play, better pick that up. No, it's because they saw a controller and it came with the game, so why not? And just to preface, we're not going to be talking about mobile exclusive games today because, dear God, mobile games are their own beast. And starting out our list is New Super Mario Bros. And this title does not lie. It really is a new Super Mario Bros. Game. This was created as a return to the classic 2D Mario formula after being anything but alive for 14 years straight, and personally, I have a lot of fond memories with this game. I know the new Super Series has become pretty stale over the years, but it felt really fresh at the time, and honestly, it's a shame that the reputation of this game has to be ruined by Nintendo releasing what is basically the same game for almost every year during this era, but what am I gonna do about it? Cry? Maybe. And next up, Red Dead Redemption 2. Wait, really? It was surprising to see this game do as well as it did, since sequels don't usually perform as well as the original game. Like, how am I supposed to play Tetris 2 if I don't know what's gonna happen in Tetris 1? But after looking at things, it totally makes sense. Red Dead 2 is a prequel, and although it links to the first game, it really might as well be its own separate thing. It also expands on the first game in just about every way, both gameplay and story-wise, and it's been a long 8 years of hype to back that all up, so clearly, this game was built for success. But it wasn't as successful as Wii Sports Resort, hell yeah! I don't own this game. Oh man, Wii Sports Resort. It makes sense for a game like this to be so high up on the list since it's the sequel to everyone's reason for even bothering looking at the Wii, and it came packed in with more games and activities than the last one. In the few times I got to play the game, my favorite minigame was always the fencing. Even if it did boil down to just waggling the controller, I always had a ton of fun playing it. I remember going to my friend's house as a kid and we would play Wii Sports basketball instead of real basketball when we felt like it was too hot outside, which, now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds really dumb. Mario Kart 8, the definitive Mario, Zelda, Splatoon, and Animal Crossing kart racing game. This might just be my favorite game in the series. Everything just feels right. The racing feels refined, turns aren't too slippery or too tight, the balancing is good, the tracks in the game are phenomenal, there's Pink Gold Peach Yeah, if there's one thing to complain about, it's the character roster. I mean, we got Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sleazy, Dopey, Doc, and Pink Gold Peach. That's it. That's where I'm drawing the line. The main gimmick here is anti-gravity, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't make that much of a difference, but allows for some wacky tracks to exist, like you'll be driving up waterfalls or going upside down. But do you know what did even better than Mario Kart? Mario Kart. Mario Kart Wii. This game is absolutely another Mario Kart game, but it doesn't really do anything new besides, you know, being on the Wii and all. It's like I'm actually driving. One of the biggest innovations of this game was the addition of online play, and although I never got to experience it, I've only heard good things about it, so I can definitively say that it might be good. Pac-Man, everybody's favorite choking hazard simulator. Pac-Man might be one of the most influential games ever made. Selling a total of 39 million units, it's clear that this game is something special. Its influence is nothing to scoff at, creating an entire genre for games, establishing the first gaming mascot, and making a massive leap in AI systems, among other things. It's honestly kinda crazy to think this game is already 40 years old. The gameplay loop of Pac-Man is so simple, yet it always draws people back. Basically anyone can pick the game up and know what your objective is. You see ghosts, you go away from ghosts, you see circles, you eat the circles. Genius. Tetris is a hard game to place on here. There's so many different versions of this game. Tetris versus Tetris, Tetris 2, Tetris 99, Tetris Effect, Super Tetris 2 and Bobbless Limited Edition, and a few hundred others. There are so many lists that would clump the entire Tetris franchise together and say that it's sold hundreds of millions of copies, but I think it's fair to say these games are separate. And for the sake of not having a migraine for the rest of the night, let's look at the original NES and Game Boy versions, which sold 43 million copies. And I gotta say, they hit the nail on the head on their first try with this game. It still holds up today and is even the preferred version of the game for many people. And next we have Wii Fit. Does this count as a game? I guess so. Wii Fit is an exercise game that utilizes the Wii balance board. It has several activities to do like yoga, strength training, aerobics. In all seriousness, it's clear why this game made the list. It's a nice tool to see your weight, balance, and exercise, but I don't think anyone's ever said, "Oh man, I can't wait to play Wii Fit." Pokemon is a franchise that has been pretty controversial in the past few entries. Whether it's a lack of ambition, hand-holdiness, or just blatantly missing features, some people have been pretty upset with the direction the series has gone in recent years, but that does not take away from how massive of a franchise it is. So when only one Pokemon game cracked the top 15, I'm gonna be honest, it was pretty surprising. Oh yeah, spoiler alert, this is the only Pokemon game on the list. This game included 150 Pokemon to trade, which was a very novel concept for the time. And alongside that was the already massive install base of the Game Boy, so it isn't too surprising to see this game so high up on the list. When mentioning video games as a whole, some people might first think of grand RPG games with deep stories. Others might think of complex FPS games that put your skills to the test. But above all others, there are millions that would think of Mario. This game is so important for video games as an industry. It single-handedly saved video games as a whole and raised the bar for quality by so much, and the main gimmick for this game is... Write that down. Write that down. I'm gonna be honest, there isn't a whole lot that could be said about this game that hasn't been said over and over again. So instead, let's move on to the top 5 best-selling games of all time. So, let me ask, what game could be so influential that it tops Pac-Man, Tetris, Pokemon, Wii Fit, and even Mario? PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I have no clue how this game got as big as it did. PUBG is a game that I've personally never played, so I can't talk about it from personal experience, but this game started the whole Battle Royale trend, and without it, games like Fortnite Battle Royale and Apex Legends probably wouldn't exist. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing to you is all down to personal preference, but it just shows the impact that the release of one game can have on an entire industry. You know the Wii? If you said yes, you already know what I'm about to be talking about. Wii Sports, oh my god. What a game! Wii Sports was created to show off the capabilities of the Wii Remote, and as a tech demo, this game is amazing. It's one of the reasons so many people bought a Wii in the first place. I mean, what isn't there to love? We got baseball, tennis, boxing, golf, but on top of all of that is bowling. Wii Sports Bowling is a minigame that'll go down in the history books as the single greatest creation of humanity. In all seriousness, this game shows the potential that motion controls have, while simultaneously being a very fun and replayable game, which definitely isn't an easy task. So, you remember how I said Tetris is a hard game to put on this list? Yeah, it's here again. Maybe? Selling a total of 100 million copies, mobile Tetris was a massive success. But there's one issue. It's on mobile. The only reason it's getting any sort of mention here is because the specific version of Tetris got ported to PS3 and PS Vita. So technically it's not mobile exclusive and it goes on this list. Of course it's still Tetris, so there's not a whole lot you can say about it, so let's just move on. Grand Theft Auto 5 is my favorite Grand Theft Auto game. It's also the only Grand Theft Auto game I've ever played. The game is good, but it's definitely not my thing. I can see the appeal of just causing utter chaos in a massive city, and with the addition of GTA Online, it makes sense why this game would be loved by so many, but I don't know, man. Something just never clicked with me, I guess. They also feel they need to put this game on every platform under the sun, including the PS5, so it makes sense why so many own this game. And the best-selling game of all time is Minecraft. Everybody knows what Minecraft is. It's the ultimate sandbox game, and there's no real objective to this, but that's one of the main appeals of this game. There are so many things to do in this game, whether you're playing survival, creative, messing around with command blocks, or even modding the game. There's honestly limitless possibilities with what you can do with this game. If any game deserved to hit 200 million copies sold, this has to be it. Minecraft is easily one of my favorite games of all time, and to be honest, I've sunk more hours into it than I'd like to admit. Alright, so, now that we're done with the research, I think it's about time we kickstart our soon-to-be #1 best-selling game. And here we go, new Super Mine Race 2 Wii Red version. I'm hoping it becomes a hit with the young ones. Now that we got our Kickstarter up, we wait. Alright, that's enough waiting, let's refresh.